What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, we're discussing a few things, right? So we're going to look later on at the Double Game Week 36 and Double Game Week 37 potential fixtures, what that might look like, why you might want to save a free hit, what wildcarders should do if they're saving it until Game Week 34, and all that good stuff. And we're also going to look at kind of Double Game Week 33, just briefly, because we've already touched on it a little bit, and kind of compare Free Hit 33 versus Free Hit 36. And again, some different things to think about. So if you enjoy it, give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. One thing I want you to do for me, right, maybe before you watch the video, maybe after, whenever you want to do it, is go and check the links in the description below and go and follow Planet FPL. The last time I put their link on screen, I got the Twitter link wrong. It's Planet FPL Pod, right, not just Planet FPL. And the YouTube channel is Planet FPL. A lot of the information for Double Game Week 36 and 37 comes from their podcast, so please do check it out. They're very good, do lots of FPL podcasts every week, lots of football podcasts as well. Links in the description below. Okay, let's quickly touch on Game Week 33. We know this is locked in. This is going to happen. We know there's going to be a blank game week for Leeds, Wolves and Aston Villa. And I think the key teams I would say are probably Leicester, Newcastle away, Everton away, Man United because they've got that Norwich at home fixture, but obviously they do have to play Liverpool away as well. And then Arsenal got Southampton away, Chelsea away. It's not ideal because of the Chelsea fixture, but the Southampton fixture is pretty decent. Elsewhere, I would say there's not too many great kind of fixture combinations, really. I mean, Newcastle against Leicester at home and Palace at home, with the improvements that Newcastle have made, possibly you can have one or two on a free hit, but there isn't too many others that are ideal. The one thing about the free hit in 33, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you get players in that you wouldn't necessarily want to keep. So big differentials that if they could outscore the teams that everyone else is going to have, happy days, okay? So maybe you do go for double or triple Man United and you do take a risk at the likes of Kane, Son, Salah, whoever you end up having to drop, don't do anything, and bam, you get ahead, right? But you don't have to keep those Man United players for the rest of the season. So that's one of the pros for Game Week 33 free hit. The disadvantages, of course, is you don't have to, but there's probably less need to free hit if you're not going to do this, and that is drop players from these teams, okay? So Chelsea have got Arsenal at home. A lot of people are going to have Chelsea players in their normal team. Same for Liverpool, same for Spurs for sure, off the back of kind of Game Week 29 double and the Game Week 30 blank. And obviously Man City have got Brighton at home. So I've already kind of gone through these teams before, but this is what I would expect a free hit 33 to roughly look at. 2 or 3, I've gone for 3 Man United players. I've got my 3 Arsenal players in there. I've got Barnes and Maddison. Now you could make a case to have a Leicester attacker in your team anyway. So again, one less reason to free hit. Whether or not you'd have 2 though, I don't think you probably would. And then I've got Son in there, but you could have Kane instead if you've got the money, and Cancelo as my only single game week players. And this is what my team would probably look like if I was just making transfers. So I haven't got 9 double game week players in there, but I've still got 7. I've still got my triple Arsenal anyway, which a lot of people will have, again, based on the double game week in 29, the fixture in blank game week 30. I've used the transfer to get Weghorst and Barnes and obviously Reece James, who doesn't have the double, and that still looks pretty good. So do I want to drop the likes of Salah, the likes of Trent, Dubravka to get, David De Gea, Fernandes, Ronaldo instead, possibly a second Leicester attacker instead of Weghorst? They're all players that I think will score more points. It's just whether or not I think they will score enough to warrant using it in Game Week 33. So whether you're wildcarding now in 31 or you're wildcarding in 34, if you've got 2 free hits left, I think you probably should use one in Game Week 33. If you've only got 1, then you've got the same dilemma as the rest of us. So let's have a look at Game Week 36. So this is what the double in Game Week 36 could potentially look like. It won't necessarily be exactly like this, but it's probably not going to be far off. For all the kind of stipulations about what could make certain teams and fixtures change, then do check out the Planet FPL pod, right? Because they go into a lot more detail as they always do, and I'm just not going to be able to explain it as well as them. So go and check that out. But it could look like this. Now, there's a few kind of standout things that I like the look of, right? Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City, 3 best teams in the league. They all have a double game week. Man City's is pretty decent. Newcastle at home, West Ham away. I think one of the things I spot straight away from the Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City fixtures, and based on the players available to us for FPL, there's a lot of defenders I like the look of, as you're going to see from my free hit team in a minute. So the Man City fixtures look good for defence, possibly for an attacker as well. Liverpool, obviously, you're never going to be unhappy having Trent, Robertson, Salah, etc. And Chelsea, Wolves at home and Leicester at home. Looks pretty nice. Again, Mendy, possibly James, Rudiger, Mount, Havertz. They're all good options, and they are going to make up the majority of what a free hit team in 36 could look like. Maybe an Arsenal attacker, because although they got Spurs away, they got that Leeds at home game. And then the best fixtures are probably Palace, Watford at home, Everton away. Whether or not there's lots of Palace players you'd want, I don't know, but the fixtures are pretty good, right? The other standout really is the fact that Spurs double would be potentially really bad, okay? Liverpool away and Arsenal home is not ideal. I know Kane's got a really good record at Arsenal. People always throw that around. But neither of those teams, neither of those fixtures, I would say, would be that high scoring. And a lot of us are carrying through 3 Spurs players. Now, that is for good reason, okay? If I just come on to this really quick. I'm so glad the screen popped up. I didn't think it was going to. Spurs, Newcastle at home, Villa away, Brighton at home, Brentford away. We're happy having 2 or 3 Spurs players for this. Same for Leicester at home. Same for Burnley at home and Norwich away, right? But Liverpool away and Arsenal at home is not necessarily great. So you could free hit out some of your Spurs players based on that, okay? Just because it doesn't look that great. Now, the free hit team that I've come up with, again, based on those fixtures, not guaranteed, yada, 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 is what it could look like is this. And I've actually gone for double City defence, double Liverpool and double Chelsea, and then 1 attacker from each of those teams as well. So I've gone triple for the big 3. And then I've got Saka in there as well, because I think that Leeds at home fixture is pretty good. And obviously I've tried to remain in budget as well. You could downgrade Lacazette on the bench to get even more money into the 11 if you wanted to. And then I've got Mateta up front, who's playing regularly. Again, things might have changed by game week 36. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But he just like kind of enables the rest of the team. And realistically, coming back to this potential fixture run, there aren't many other options there I see for the forward line. The one player that probably would stick out if he's playing well and playing regularly at the time is Calvert-Lewin, Leicester away and Palace at home. That looks potentially pretty nice. And if he was playing regularly, I would definitely do Lacazette to Calvert-Lewin and bench Mateta instead. But again, we don't need to worry about it, right? We can worry through what the team looks like in game week 36. Now, one of the advantages to saving the free hit for 36, especially if you haven't got a wild card left, is once we get there, not too much of the season left. We'll know whether the league is wrapped up. Do Chelsea even care about the league games at that point? A team still in Europe? Who's got injured? Who's being rotated? And all that stuff. Because even if, Foden, Laporte or whoever aren't options, Man City have lots of players that can score lots of points. So if we think Foden's going to get rested in one of those games, and Mahrez or Sterling or whoever it might be is going to play twice, or that James isn't an option, and we've all got James in our team, so we, free hit in Rudiger or whoever it is at the time, the idea would be that the big advantage is you can get the 3 best players from the 3 best teams, and you don't have to worry about what comes before or after it. The disadvantage is most of our transfers up until game week 36 are going to be based on these teams anyway. So when I think about what my team might look like, my actual team, okay, I'm not going to have Mendy in goal, but I'll probably have Trent. I'll probably have 1 Chelsea defender, probably have Cancelo. I'll have Salah. I'll still have Saka left over from all the other weeks I've held him for. So that's already 5 players. Maybe Mount or Foden. That's already half of the team that I would have in my actual squad anyway. Whereas for free hit 33... there's definitely a bunch of players that I wouldn't want to hold on to. And I don't want to sit on the fence, but there's not really a right or wrong. It's how much do you value being able to have the perfect squad in game week 36, but actually when you get there, it might not actually be that different to your normal team, right? The other thing I really want to quickly touch on that's not really free hit related is if you're wildcarding in game week 34, you're probably going to bench boost in 36 if you haven't already used it. So teams like maybe Everton, maybe Crystal Palace have got those cheaper players. Perhaps Johnson if he's still playing for West Ham. That could be your bench boost. Ben White for Arsenal, for example. Hope he gets the clean sheet against Leeds. Appearance points against Spurs. They could all be decent picks on your bench boost. But of course, if you've got the free hit left as well, if you've got wildcard, bench boost and free hit, when are you going to use that other free hit? You either use it in 33 for all the reasons I already spoke about, or you potentially use it in double game week 37. Now, straight away, again, these might not be the actual teams that end up doubling, but it's looking pretty likely. And you would have to say there's probably not too many teams on here that you'd want to free hit players in from. So let's just discount Norwich straight away. Let's say maybe you go for one Watford forward. You maybe go for one Wolves defender just because they got Norwich at home. But the Man City game is already pretty much looks like a lost cause for a clean sheet. So then you're free hitting to get a lot of Everton and Leicester players in, which might not be a bad thing necessarily. The fixtures are good, but it's not necessarily a very exciting free hit. The only thing I could slightly see as an option for free hitters is with Spurs, maybe when you wildcard in 34, because you wouldn't be free hitting in 36, perhaps you drop some of your Spurs players. So you only have like one, maybe two at the most. You don't have them for the Game Week 36 double because it doesn't look that good. And when you do free hit for Burnley at home, with the other double game week fixtures, you go back to 3 Spurs players maybe, but then you miss them for Norwich away. So it's not even that necessarily ideal. So if you are thinking about the free hit, I think wildcard 34, bench boost 36, free hit double game week 37 looks kind of good. Again, there will be some players you'll want from Leicester and Everton, but if you're wildcarding in 34 to bench boost in 36, you're probably not going to have a lot of players from those teams. Right? Most of your team is going to be made up of Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea players. So the free hit in 37 could work. If you don't think this is worth it, and you are wildcarding after game week 33, of course you could just use the free hit in game week 33 as well. So hopefully that helps. I mean, there's a lot of information to take in. Right now, I really am just sitting on the fence. I don't know whether to free hit in 33 or 36. The appeal of being able to make that perfect squad from the best teams sounds good, but I'm going to have a lot of those players anyway. So part of me just wants to go a little bit different in 33 and just not have to worry about carrying loads of Leicester players, loads of Man United players and stuff like that. But I am a little bit undecided. Just some other kind of quick notes as well, if I can just pull it up here. There is some other stuff that could happen, right? So I did say a lot of this is dependent on what happens in Europe and stuff like that. If Chelsea and Leicester could double a bit earlier than 36 in game week 34 or 35, I think James was saying to me it's more likely to happen in game week 35. That's if they go out of Europe. So we need to keep an eye on that as well. There is also other smaller doubles that could happen. Villa versus Burnley in game week 34. If Chelsea beat Real Madrid, they could double in 37. And that would mean them playing twice in 3 days. So it would make the free hit in 37 a little bit better, but it'd be difficult to know who's going to play twice, especially if they get through the FA Cup semi-final and then have a final to contend with as well. And there is a scenario where Man City could double in 37 instead of game week 36. Again, I'm not going to go into full details about why that could be, but if that was to happen, then suddenly the game week 36 might look a little bit weaker, and possibly game week 37, which I spoke about just a minute ago, could look a little bit better. And that is possibly another reason to save the free hit, because with game week 33, we know what's going to happen, so it is easier to plan for, but it's also easier to plan for without the free hit. Whereas if you get later to 36 or 37 and somehow you're just been screwed over by the way the fixtures end up falling, having that free hit to fall back on could be pretty decent. So it really does depend how much do you value those players I mentioned in game week 33, the Man United players and stuff like that, over Kane, Son, Salah. And I think when you say it out loud like that, a lot of people are not going to free hit in 33. I don't think it's a no-brainer by any stretch. You just have to weigh up which way you kind of prefer it. So if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button. Please do go and follow Planet FPL. They are a great podcast. Links in the description below. I'll leave that there. I'll probably be back on Tuesday, I think will be the next video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. I'll see you soon.